And with that, I will turn it over to Amy.
Hey everyone, my name is Amy Tipler. I'm the Library Program Administrator for the Continuing Education and Leadership Development and Recruitment Programs here at the Bureau of Library Development. And today for our discussion, we're talking about unique library spaces. So that can be anything you want to talk about. So really this is open to everyone to share, ask questions, pitch ideas to each other. My first question is, what do your libraries have? Does anyone want to share anything interesting or cool that they have or their libraries are planning on having? I was researching earlier today about things in Florida, specifically that libraries offer, from maker spaces to recording studios, community gardens, modular furniture. And I just wanted to open it up to anyone that's willing to share what their libraries have or are planning to have in the future. And feel free to come on the mic and unmute, or if you want, you can put it in the chat and I will also read those out loud in case people can't read the chat right now. Natalie says they have a fresh and free fridge and community garden. I was just reading about your community garden, actually. I thought that was really cool. And you tie that with your seed library, right? Yes, very nice. Yeah. Does anyone else on here have a community garden or want to start one?
At the West Oaks branch of the Orange County Library System, we have a wildflower garden, and we expanded it recently to include Florida native plants. We have a nice outdoor space with a fountain and a few fun things. We're installing a permanent story walk at the end of July, so we're super excited about that.
Very nice. Does anyone else want to share on community gardens?
Sure. My former library system, Pasco County Libraries, has a Discovery Gardens makerspace at the New River Library. I'm going to put the link in the chat so everybody can see it. The community, they have a number of different beds that are available for community members to use, and they're booked solid from what I understand. They do it on a 3-month basis and they're booked constantly. They do all sorts of garden related programming out there. They have different areas that the staff maintain. So they have like a sensory garden, butterflies, all native Florida plants, all sorts of things. It actually got started because one of the staff members had an idea and asked if she could start a garden at the branch. And they thought, well, okay, you can have some pots there. And this is what it's transformed into. So it's definitely one of the Pasco Library's best developed spaces.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I was just reading about Palm Harbor. I don't know if anyone here is from Palm Harbor. They just started a musical garden where they have some weatherproof musical instruments you can use out there for the kids. And they've got music sheets that are color coded. So the xylophones, they know what notes to hit. I thought that was very clever. It's really cool the number of things you can do with, a garden, not just in terms of plants, but other things that you can kind of incorporate too. Does anyone else have any they want to share on gardens? It's actually a good segue. I think, Angeli, I think it was you that mentioned StoryWalks. We did have someone who's put in the chat when they register that they're looking to do a story walk. I don't know if they're on right now, if they wanted to talk about that or if they had any questions for the group. Lori, I think it was you actually. Does anyone have any experience with story walks and any things to look out for or particular, stories or anything?
The Orange County Library System has been doing story walks since the pandemic. We actually had one beforehand, and we dusted it off and grabbed some like large books and went for it. We've done them all across the county, particularly in parks. And like Anjali said, we've done them out at her location before as just a kind of temporary one. They're very similar to the boards that you can get during, or you see during election time. So they're very reusable. They do pose challenges with keeping the stories on there. And then we've done them at a lot of schools. It was our best way for reaching out to schools during the pandemic and still being able to connect and do stuff with them. Because it went well, we were able to work with the local Orange County Parks and Rec and install a permanent story walk in one of their parks. And we're looking to do that in some of the other neighborhood parks as well. I think the biggest challenge is the weather. If things blow away, we have to be really careful when we talk to people. We send a list of instructions, like if it rains, please bring them in. Even though we laminate them, they're obviously, there's those concerns. We did have a few stolen, which was unexpected and a little odd. Thank goodness it was a story that didn't need a lot of continuity in it. But then with our permanent story walk, our biggest challenge has been really shoring up the places where we put them so they're weatherproof. We had to go back in and sort of retrofit them for weatherproofing. And then just because they're out there for so long, when we finally do take them out, they're very, very faded. But all in all, it's been a wonderful experience for the community and a very easy setup. And it's a beautiful way to connect with partners as something very easy to do.
Do you find, how long do they normally last, like out in the sun? Do you have to replace them very often, or you just put them, like strategically place them in shade or somewhere that's going to last longer?
With the ones that aren't permanent, those typically, like, we'll put them up for a few hour period. We'll drop them off in the morning and we'll come back and get them. And even if it rains, like I said, they're laminated, so it's not really the end of the world. The permanent one, they're working on a month cycle. Our library is celebrating our 100 years this year. So they've got a different book for every decade. So those are staying out for a month, which makes it a lot easier on staff. But by the time we do get them back, they are very, very washed out. And, at least with the park that we chose, there's a lot of shade and not shaded areas. But we usually always put them near like a playground area or around a playground area if we're doing a non-permanent one.
Great. And Alexis asked, any recommendations on where you're buying picture books, big ones?
So I got away from picture books pretty early on because we have such a very diverse community. I felt like it was very limiting to us to only use big picture books. There's not a lot of great options. So we moved to the smaller books, just the regular picture books, just making sure that there wasn't a lot of words and making sure that the font was pretty large. But that allowed us to we have bilingual story walks. We're able to do a lot of different things with that then, because I felt like it was very limiting. And yes, story walk is a trademark. So you do have to put that with your verbiage, but it's pretty easy and she's pretty easygoing. We also looked into, if anybody's getting started, we looked into the if there was any copyright issues or anything like that with displaying the books, but it falls under public performance, which means we're allowed to use them as long as we don't alter them in any way or photocopy them.
Great, thank you. StoryWalk is a trademark, and I was going to share this article because Leon County has story walks, but they call them story trails. And they link them to like outdoor things. So they'll offer hammocks that you can check out and other things. There's a really cool, I think there's a photo in this article maybe of a bench shaped like a book, which I thought was really awesome. But story walks are great. But it is trademarked. And I think it's called Let's Move in Libraries, which I have a link for that too, just so you can see who to contact. Does anyone else want to talk about story walks or anything else related, maybe outdoors, spaces that are unique to your libraries or things you've seen that you want to do?
One thing to keep in mind that we're trying to keep in mind in putting up our permanent story walk at the West Oaks branch is to make sure that they're as interactive as possible. So having those activities in between the different stations. Reading is wonderful and we want to encourage that, but we also want to make it like more of an entertaining experience as well. So a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, I like the idea of the like the semi-permanent or the ones that you take away, because I've seen some libraries do it where they have an event up, it's a really big event, and then they do a mini story walk, you know, and then you go in between to the booths and things, which I thought was really cool. So definitely, yeah, I agree. Definitely interactive is the way to go. So does anyone have anything that they wanted to ask the group or that they wanted to share specifically? I think one thing that I was really looking forward to is just hearing what other libraries have that they're really proud of, or maybe that they don't even really recognize as being cool or unique, but it's really helpful for your community. That's just a little bit different from books and tables and chairs and what people normally think is in a library. Does anyone want to share what they have?
We are, good morning, afternoon. I just got back from ALA, so my time thing is a little messed up, but we are looking at getting a, we should be getting them fairly soon, modular circulation desk stuff. So we have a very small library, it's rural, and looking at ways that we can adapt our space to different needs. Or even like if we wanted to have a performance in the library, we can actually move the tables and all that stuff into a different part of the library and have, you know, more public space.
Yeah, that's very cool. I know that modular furniture and being able to move things is a really big topic for libraries now. I had heard recently when I was talking about doing this discussion that Orange County, I don't know if anyone from Orange County can maybe say this better than I can, but I had heard that they have movable shelving so they can push it out of the way for large events. Is that something you guys have at your locations?
Yes, the Chickasaw branch has movable shelving, specifically around like a stage area. We had one of our larger performers here at the West Oaks branch today, and we had 165 people and we were completely packed, but Chickasaw had the same performer and they had 300 people in their location. So it's really helpful to kind of have that so you have a little bit more space to be able to explore. It's a really open building.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really cool. Yeah. Does anyone else use modular furniture to kind of help out their events and their space? I don't know if anyone's seen this. This is an old article from last year, but I just really love it. There's a library in Virginia. Maybe some of you have furniture like this, I don't know. But there's a library in Virginia that has like a baby parent desk where they use these in their public libraries for baby sits in one side and the parent gets to work on the computer while their kids kind of corralled, which I thought was really cool and would love to see in person. But I don't know if anyone has anything like that or would like something like that. Do you guys have a wish list of furniture that you love? Oh, Palm Beach has at least one at each branch. Very cool. I think they're awesome. Just saw these at ALA. Nice. Yeah, I've seen a couple that are like some are curved and they can fit into different spaces that aren't as rectangular. They're a little bit tighter. But I think these are really cool. Oh, you got one at Santa Fe College. Very nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like they can be used for so many things too. Like, parents need that space and that energy to focus on one thing. And when they have their kid, it's a little difficult. So it's very helpful, I can tell. But does anyone use modular furniture for like their teen spaces? I've heard of libraries doing that for their teen spaces so they can do, VR versus, just regular computer, laptop usage. Does anyone have modular furniture in their teen spaces?
Our teen room is really small. We don't even have space for computers in there, just books, but we do have like plugs in the floor and stuff so kids can bring their own devices. But we have just like some like chunky block kind of furniture that can be stacked or moved around, and the teens do like to rearrange the furniture in there. We don't have, I don't think, any sort of regular chairs, just things that can be used as chairs or tables or pushed aside or things like that.
I feel like it's so helpful, especially if you have smaller spaces or smaller branches, to be able to shift things around, stack things. It definitely helps. So I know some things when I was looking earlier is recording studios and other unique things that maybe the community doesn't necessarily know that libraries have, but they do. Does anyone have, cool technology spaces, innovation centers? I know there's the Hive at Hillsborough. Does anybody want to talk about that and what they offer to the community and how often they get used or how popular they are?
Hi there. I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but the Orlando Public Library has the Melrose Center, and it's a super cool space, a video studio, audio studio, photography studio, a fabrication lab. So it's pretty much, especially things like the audio studio is booked fairly solid, and that kind of led to other things and learning experiences where the students who participate in the classes, they actually help to mic up a live session for a band. And then that led into another partnership with our PBS affiliate. So now that is a regular feature. So they will film bands performing and interview them. So it's led to really great learning opportunities for so many people who wouldn't have necessarily had those experiences.
Anyone else have any kind of recording or technology spaces that are a little bit more unique? That's a really great partnership, but that's really cool. And there's so much you can do with that too and expand on. Oh, Rebecca says Hives at Hillsborough branches can have 3D printers, sewing machines, green screens, recording studios, and cameras for use. Also access to GarageBand and other editing software. Very cool. I would love to see someone acting out something in front of a green screen with no context or sound. Oh, thanks for the link. Does anyone else want to share? So I know someone mentioned Pasco earlier. I was looking and they have, oh, Natalie said, we have a little business center office set up that was used for more socially isolated office during COVID and is now used for testing and video calls. Very nice. Yeah. Does anyone else have any old offices that they've turned into other spaces? I've heard the dream of, let's knock down this wall and then we can have this big thing happen, or this can be the new teen room, or this can be the new kids room. Does anyone have that happening at their library where they're just kind of repurposing spaces? Well, like I was saying before, I'd seen on Pasco's website, and I don't know if they're still here, but that you guys have a wood shop and a test kitchen where you can test different like cooking classes and things like that. It can be more hands-on learning. Is there someone here from Pasco who can talk about that? I just thought that was really cool, and something I had not heard of before at a library. And then Amber said, we added a mobile gaming station to our teen area. This has helped get teens out of our foyer and into the teen area. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, very cool. Mobile gaming station. Maybe Pasco hopped off, but I'd seen that they had like a wood shop where you could do like woodworking, and they had a test kitchen where you could go to different classes and learn how to cook and use different utensils in the kitchen, which I think is just great. And it's such a unique use of space, something that you wouldn't normally think a library would have. Oh, nice, a PS5. Very cool. Does anyone else have mobile gaming or any type of gaming stations at their libraries that they offer? I know a lot of people have VR. Is that still something people offer? Or I know Oculus sometimes, people move away from that and into like PS5s or other things. What's popular right now? Oh, nice. You have a drone. What do you use it for? Do you let them play with it, or do you just do like event videoing or?
Well, we were going to do some things with the drone, but that was right around when we sort of closed down for COVID. So mostly we've been just demoing it with different patrons and working on and with the staff and working on different ideas for programs with it. But yeah, it does do video, and even just getting people involved and seeing it take off and land and seeing how their technology interacts with it has been really interesting.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much you can do with drones. I've used them for like marketing before. You lay all the stuff out that the library has, and you use a drone to get like an overhead shot of it all. But yeah, it's really cool to be able to incorporate that into programming. So it made me think of, I don't know if anyone knows this exists, but there's like drone racing that people do. They have really big events in like Las Vegas and stuff. Sometimes they're on TV and you can watch them race their drones through like a obstacle course. Just a program idea, No. But Natalie said we did some remote tours of the library during the closure. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's lots of things to do with drones and gaming consoles and all of that, and virtual reality. Is there anything that people, if you had unlimited funds and you could there was no red tape, there was no one you had to ask permission, is there anything that you really would love to have at your library, or that people have asked for at your library that you just haven't been able to implement yet? Natalie says, I like to add more outdoor and park space. Yeah. Yeah, we're lucky here in Leon County. A lot of our libraries have some outdoor space, if not next to a park or a walking trail or something similar. I know not everybody has that kind of space.
I'd like to be able to offer before hour and after hour access. We have a librarian here who worked in Georgia, and they have a program where they allow people to sign up to get in 2 hours before and 2 hours after, and the library is not staffed. And it truly terrified us when she said it. We just couldn't, you know, it took a long time and many days of letting that settle in. But it's just such a great idea, especially when our budgets, you know, are constricted, or, you know, maybe it doesn't make sense to have the lights turned on for just a couple people coming in, but it makes sense for them, you know, our customers and everything, and during their times. And if it worked there, the idea of creating small spaces as just little pocket libraries around the city would be amazing. And if they could be unmanned, and if that worked, that would be a phenomenal resource to, I think, people who would just, you know, could use this at any time at their leisure.
Wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that before. How does that work? Do they have to be like free from fines or have some kind of credential?
It's some separate program that they sign up for, and they basically utilize their library card outside of the location, and they scan in, and it allows them to come in and they can get on the computers and use the print stations and use self-check. And like I said, there's a lot of cameras and everything up, so it you know, like everybody's watching you. But, you know, obviously we all freaked out when she told us. We didn't understand how that could ever happen and work. But she said that it went so well that they've expanded it to their other branches. I'll find the link and I'll put it in the chat for everybody, because it's just such a interesting concept. And I know we've talked to our director about it, and he's interested, but it takes a lot to kind of wrap your head around.
Yeah, I could see that. I would, if I had heard that, I would be very shocked. Yeah, that's very interesting. That's super cool. I'd love to see the link if you have it. Does anyone else have something similar, or have, I mean, the next closest thing, I guess, that maybe people would feel comfortable with are vending machines. Does anyone have vending machines at their library and, you know, community like courthouses or other spaces? Yeah, and there's little free libraries too. I know sometimes libraries will let their like patrons into the community centers that are attached to their library, so not into the library themselves, where the computers and the, you know, all the books and things are, but they have the separate doors where they can get in before and after to have morning or afternoon events when the libraries aren't open. But yeah, it's definitely unique. Very awesome. Yeah. You know, vending machines, book vending machines have been pretty popular last like few years too, especially with the pandemic, just putting those in different places, or even for rural areas to have access to those as well. Does anyone else have anything they want to share or talk about? Or any questions for the group? Oh, and thank you for the link. Oh, Mary Beth, we did not talk about art galleries. Yeah, we definitely can. Mary Beth, did you have a question or have something you wanted to share first?
No, I wanted to share first. So
Sure.
at Pasco Hernando State College in my campus library, we have an art gallery. We are actually getting ready for our annual staff and faculty art show. We have a changing slate of exhibitions. Each of them runs for about 6 weeks, give or take. and we feature local artists. So it's a lot of fun. We had a big show earlier this year with the local Quilt Guild. They're regular exhibitors, and we had a lot of people coming to that. So it's free, and we do get some traffic from the community as well as from students.
Very nice. How do you pick the artists? Or do you have themes of the month or?
There is a committee that has oversight of it. One of our staff members oversees the gallery, and so she's reaching out to local artists to see if they're available for exhibition at the times in general. At the times that are available, she has the schedule planned out, so we know there's going to be one from like mid-August to mid-September, for example, and then she sees who's available, might be interested in displaying. We had a local watercolor artist display earlier this year as well. So yeah, it's local folks. She's always looking for people who would be interested.
Do you find that people reach out to you ever to see if they can do it, or do you always reach out to them?
I'm not involved in it to that extent. I think most of it seems to be us soliciting the artists, but if someone came and said, hey, we'd be interested, I don't think we'd turn them away. We'd want to hear what they had to say, see what sort of art they did.
Very nice. Yeah, I bet that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have art galleries or an art wall that they have at their library? And I hate to keep using Leon County, but it's just because they're right down the, they're literally like right down the street. But they have an art gallery. It's small. It's like one wall, but they let community members, and they have art cases at the different branches, but they let the community members sign up to showcase, their collections or whatever they have. So they do solicit, on social media, like if you have something they want to show, you can show it. But then they also, of course, do ones that they curate where they reach out to local artists, or they've had other ones that have been like traveling galleries that have come in too. So it's pretty cool to see the different types of art just walking through the library, just on a daily basis. Amber said we have a teen one in the teen area, and Judy said we have a gallery in our meeting room and we change it every 2 months. Do either of you want to talk a little bit about that, what you guys feature, or are they tied to programs at all?
Ours is a teen one, so it's usually just our local teens. We'll like put it out there, and we'll give them like the chance to submit like 2 pieces, and it's like they have a size like stipulation or whatever, but they just put them on the wall. But I think our fall one is the actual where they, like right now our summer one is just for fun, and their art's just displayed, but we have like a fall one where they'll actually submit their artwork, and then people will kind of like, our staff members will judge it, and then whoever wins will actually get their own art exhibition, so they can come in and bring like their family and stuff like that, that their own private showing, and they can submit more of their own work, and that gets left up for several weeks. And so they have like the main one, and they have like a runner-up person, and then they'll get to change theirs out to show the other runner-ups. So that's kind of how we do the teen one. But then also in the fall, we actually, I guess you call like a partnership with our local artist guild, and they actually have an art show in our meeting room, and they'll bring all their artwork in, and they kind of handle it themselves. They just use our space, but all the local schools will come over, and they do field trips, and they actually talk about the art and their styles and stuff like that. But that's kind of how we do ours.
We have ours set up in a meeting room, and we'll let people go in there and look. We change it about every 2 months when we can. And we've had stuff ranged from having like students come in and create work and we put it up. One we did a couple months ago, we had the kids take, it's our centennial for our town. So we had a bunch of pictures in our library that were of major landmarks. So we put those up and had the kids do watercolors on their representations of those and then just hung those up. But we also have the Palm Beach County, or the artists of Palm Beach County, and they'll come in and they'll do a show for us every once in a while. And when they do it, they pretty much take care of everything. So that's it.
That's great. Yeah, it's great to see that. Awesome. Devin in the chat said art exhibits are popular in Jacksonville too. Our main library stays open late for downtown's monthly art walk and our gallery is featured. Very cool. So Devin, is that inside? So they stay open and you let them walk through? Is that, so your main library is probably pretty close to where the art walk is then?
Yeah, exactly. Not sure if you can hear me. Yeah, our main library is right downtown in the center of where the art walk happens anyway. So it stays open late and art is on the main, well, there's a few floors that feature art actually. So the entire building stays open late. And we find that art walk night is so popular. People come from, you know, the whole county. So it's a nice way for them to discover the main library too, even if they didn't, you know, come for that reason exclusively.
That's great. Wow, that's super cool. Does anyone else have anything they want to share? Are there any unique library spaces that we haven't talked about that people wanted to talk about or ask questions about? Oh, Sawyer says, when I was in Mobile, Alabama, the library had a partnership with the local schools to display student art exhibits to bring in parents and students to the library. Yeah, Leon County does that too, actually. They do like the Children's Art Month as well. Does anyone else participate in that? And Natalie says we have some interactive exhibit tables that we change out every 6 weeks. Very nice. Does anyone else partner with local organizations to help support like their unique spaces, like the artwork or their maker spaces? Did anyone partner with anyone in their communities or even the gardens?
I'm on the board for the Miami Shores Brockway Memorial Library, and we partner. We have our village has a fine arts council, and so we have spaces where we normally hang, you know, library pieces, and so they do they curate and organize three gallery showings a year, and then we do an exhibit opening. So they actually do the selection, again, similar to you know, local artists. A variety of different materials. We've had, you know, primarily visual, you know, oils or watercolors, sketches, we've had photographic exhibits, but we've had some sculpture pieces as well. And so they make the arrangements with the artists and they go up for about 6 weeks.
Oh, very nice. When you all display people's art, I assume you have some kind of contract or something stating, do they have to go through a whole rigorous process to do it? Or is it pretty easy for like the public to come in and display their art?
We have ours pretty easy. We have a form that they fill out and they're supposed to send us examples of their art, but it tends to be a little bit less formal than that. And because we have such a hard time getting artists, we kind of just let, you know, as long as we kind of know what their art looks like, we kind of just let them put them up. Oh.
I'm sure they appreciate that, making it a little easier for them. Does anyone else have anything they want to share? We have about 15 minutes left in this. I mean, we could always, of course, give you 15 minutes back in your day, but does anyone else have anything they wanted to talk about? One just popped in my head, but for those of you who have gone to conferences recently, I know there's been a few in recent months. Is there anything really cool or unique that you would just have loved to bring back to your libraries? Kind of like the parent-child, setup with the desk and the kids' playpen.
One thing I found, I went to Designing Libraries in Philadelphia in October. So the big site visit was Temple University Library. One of the things that was interesting there is rather than deal with the decision of where do you put outlets, everywhere, and you can never win, is they talking of vending machines. They have machines that they have, large block power blocks that people can then borrow for several hours. So, they obviously have outlets, wherever they can, but rather than being tied to that and having your furniture kind of tied around that, they have these loaning kiosks for these power blocks on every floor, so students can check them out, borrow them, and they self-charge once they're returned. So I thought that was an interesting way to kind of get around that.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like that would be great if you're also like functioning as a comfort station too, and you have a lot of people in the library. That's really cool. I saw something kind of similar to that recently too, where they just have like big towers that you can plug into, but you can move the towers around, and it definitely is helpful, especially I would assume in like universities. So it'd be great be able to take it away with you wherever you're studying. Has anyone else seen anything recently that they thought was just really amazing? Well, Natalie said for our garden, they cooperate with the county extension. Yeah, county extensions are great. They have such a wealth of knowledge and speakers and all, and resources. Definitely a good person to tap into for partnerships. Well, if no one has anything else that they'd like to talk about or share, can give you 15 minutes back in your day. We'll hang out here for a few minutes in case people do want to, but we are very happy that you came and you shared, and I've learned a lot. I hope other people have maybe taken some ideas back with them. And Rebecca has put into the chat our post-webinar survey. If you're willing to fill it out, we use those for the grants that help fund our programs. So we share out those things. But thank you for coming, and we hope you can come visit us next time for our DLIS discussion in July, which will be on digitizing collections, and we'll have some experts in the field coming that month. So thanks, everyone.